Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy E2 Blue coming back at you again. And it is game day. Game day. Good afternoon, y'all, on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. The 1 o'clock games are getting ready to start. Our Cowboys play at 8:20 tonight. Prime time, AT&T Stadium. And it's going to be a battle of 2-on-1 teams. And at this point, I'm looking at this classic division rival right now. Cowboys and New York Giants. Now, as we get into the matchups and the keys to victory and all that, I want to say that, first of all, you have a battle. Right now, we have a battle of two teams that don't want to go 0-2. It's a division game, so it's, you know, some people, I hate talking about that must-win title, because if you think about it, every week in the NFL is a must-win because of the simple fact that you only have 16 games in a season. Like I was stating before, it's not like other sports where they play 1,000,001 games in a season, so you can go on a stretch where you have a bunch of games, like 4 or 5 games losing. You can't do that for either one of these teams. So it's going to be a battle out there, and I don't think that it's going to be a high-scoring game because, for the most part, these teams know each other. The advantage that the Cowboys have right now is the simple fact that, and they need to use this, the fact that they have a lot of new players. For them, as of last week, it was a disadvantage because, as you can see, they didn't gel well, they didn't play right, and it was a lot of things there was a lot of miscues in the games. You know, missed tackles on the defense. Even though the defense played well, they still missed on a couple of things. Dak Prescott wasn't reading the defense. He was missing receivers. The offensive line wasn't blocking well for him. It was a lot of penalties in the game, but that's last week. So this week, the focus is to tighten up these things. Now, both of these teams have dynamic running backs. The Giants have Saquon Barkley out of Penn State, and the Cowboys have Zeke Elliott, Mr. Ohio State Buckeye. Now, it was so much given about Saquon Barkley being a monster coming in. We've seen what he did in the game, but another thing with him is that was his first game of the season. Didn't nobody know what he can do. Even though they knew what he can do, you still don't know because it's your first time playing an actual NFL game. Outside of that 68-yard run that he had for a touchdown, which was great blocking on that outside by their receivers, but he really didn't have, he had some negative plays. He had like a 4-yard run. He had a 6-yard run. He had another 4-yard run. So it was a lot of give and take there, and it was some negative plays within that too, because the Giants don't have the best offensive line. The Cowboys still have a better offensive line. Now, we heard reports about Landon Collins being that guy and basically saying what their game plan was on defense. They're gonna stop Dak by stopping Zeke, and because they think that that's the Cowboys' only weapon. Now, that's cute and everything, and again, they have the defensive front to do that. But one key inactive for them this week is Olivier Vernon. Olivier Vernon is their marquee rush guy. I mean, yes, they still have Snacks Harrison, but Olivier Vernon has a way of ruining your life, ruining your day with his pass rush. Now, like I said, Olivier Vernon is their bread and butter. He has a high ankle sprain, so he's not playing this game, which is a whew for the Dallas Cowboys. But Cowboys have to win this game. One of the keys to this game, Cowboys have to start off strong. They have to start off strong. They need to establish the run. Now, again, the Giants are going to try to take that away. But again, fundamentals. Take it back to fundamentals. That's what they lost last game. That's what they lacked last game. They didn't utilize their fundamentals. They went away from that for whatever reason. They played like they ain't played football in a year. They played like they were scared. They played like not the Dallas Cowboys that we know. Now, especially with this offensive line, we know that Travis Frederick is out for some time. We don't know when or if he's going to come back with his syndrome. But like I said, Joe Looney did a good job. But again, they have to do something to help Connor Williams step up to the plate. Connor Williams is a young guy. He still has a lot to learn in this league, and I believe that he will get better and better as time progresses. One thing that you don't want to do is cut confidence of these young players. When you put them out there and you establish them as a starter, you got to keep them there because, again, it's growing pains. Everybody goes through growing pains. You don't start nothing new. It's very rare that you start something new, being on a different team, starting a new job, whatever the case may be. You're going to have times where you mess up. That's just because it's a learning process. You guys have to understand that it's a learning process. Just because they played football their whole life, they've never been in the league. NFL is a whole different monster. So sometimes I wish some of the fans can actually like see what these players see and what they go through every day. You know, being on that field and trying to stay healthy and treatments for their bodies on a week-to-week basis. Like, you know, imagine you trying to get into a car accident every Sunday and expect to come back the week and practice and bump heads with your teammates and then do it all again the next week. And that's not including teams that play on Sunday and then turn right back around and play on Thursday. Like, the transition, it's a lot to get your body, you know, trained to do that. So, with that being said, use Zeke, not just in the running game, but in the passing game. Cowboys have the weapons, and they failed to utilize them last week. They had Tavon Austin. He had a nice 9-yard out that he created for a first down. But the problem was it was negated by a penalty by one of the offensive linemen. I think it was Lyle Collins. But you look at that, and they have to get better with that. Limit the penalties. Come into this game strong. Start off strong. You cannot get shut out in the first half like you did against Carolina. You cannot do that. Throw the ball downfield. First of all, come into the game, and I've said this before, Dak needs to come into this game and throw the ball downfield in the first play. It don't even matter if he completes the pass or not. Throw that ball downfield. Back up this defense. Let them know that, hey, I do accept your challenge, bro, and we're going to throw this ball today. And we're going to utilize our targets. That means these receivers have to get open. I predict a big game for Cole Beasley because he's going to be playing on that inside. Giants have cornerback B.W. Webb. And for those of you guys that are hardcore Cowboy fans, I know you guys remember B.W. Webb when Cowboys had him. He used to get burnt all the time by our offense when he was with us. Like, he was one of those undrafted guys out of William and Mary. I think it was, I don't know, like 2012, 2011, 2013, something. It was a little while back, but when B.W. Webb was on the team, now he's with the Giants after bouncing around the league, and he's going to be on Cole Beasley, and that is a favorable matchup for Cole Beasley. So Cole Beasley needs to utilize that, get the ball, and he's going to have a lot of targets. As far as the inactive reports, outside of the ones we already know, Xavier Woods, Dayton Jones, the ones that are injured, Travis Frederick, but what we don't know is whether they're going to have Rico Gathers active or not because it's still too early. If they let Rico play, that can be another weapon that you can utilize in this offense just to break up some monotony, because again, these teams don't know Rico Gathers. They ain't seen him in the regular season game yet. Whether I know the coaching staff doesn't really trust him much with the offense, but again, make it simple for him. Give him some routes that are special for him and let him do his thing, because he's capable of at least doing that. He can catch the ball and he can run with it. So he's a big body, so you know those smaller cornerbacks can't do the things to tackle him like that, because again, if you throw the ball up to him, they're not going to jump with him. They're not. He's going to be able to catch the ball. We've seen him catch the ball one-handed. We've seen him catch a ball over a defender. That's just the things that he can do. Now, granted, he may not be able to block well, but again, that's what you got. Swaim there, you got the running backs, you got Jameis Olawale. Utilize these players, be creative with it, but also be fundamental. and all that goes on Scott Linehan. Scott Linehan has to come in here with a game plan to do things that the Cowboys haven't done this season yet, which has only been one game. But at the end of the day, you already know what the Giants are going to do. They're going to try to stop Zeke. That's the only person they're afraid of right now. And because he's the only one that they're afraid of right now, utilize that and get these guys moving. Get Tavon Austin out on some jet sweeps. Get him out on some rubs. Get him out on a wheel route. Do something. Do something to get this offense up and running. Get them going. Utilize your speedsters. Again, you got Tavon Austin. You got Deontay Thompson. You got these fast guys. Throw some deep balls. Throw it up to Michael Gallup like Dak did in preseason against the 49ers. Utilize the things that you have already practiced, because I haven't seen much of the stuff, because I've seen what they've done in training camp, and I've seen some of the things that they implemented. Start using the stuff that you implemented, because, again, you don't want to drop 0-2. You don't want to start off the season like that, because it is a 12.5% chance that you will make it to the playoffs if they drop 0-2, 0-3. Because the schedule's not going to get better. You got Seattle next week, so you got to get in tune with that. You got to protect Dak. They have to protect this offensive line has to protect Dak. They got to give him time to find his receivers so he can go through his progressions and make a pass down the field. Like I said, no penalties. Well, you're going to have a few of them, but limit the penalties. Limit the penalties. We had too many penalties, y'all. I don't know how many times I can reiterate this. If you limit the penalties, don't get in 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12, or 3rd and 24 situations. You want to do your bread and butter on 1st and 2nd down. That way, you can get to 3rd and manageable, which is 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 2. You know what I mean? You want to get your team in a position to get the ball downfield. All this not reaching the 50-yard line before halftime bull. You got to do what you got to do to get that ball into the red zone and utilize what you have on your team and score the touchdown. Maher can't have no missed field goals. If you're going to be this kicker on this team, you got to kick the ball. You got to do your job. That is your only job. Kick the ball. I don't know if it was week 1 jitters or whatever, but get that out your system, because, it's going to, if you keep missing, it's going to look really bad that the Cowboys got rid of Dan Bailey for a guy that's unproven. I mean, that was already the case, but, if you're not going to do what you're supposed to do, it's going to really look bad on this front office. Dak got sacked 6 times last game. That can't happen. That's not good. No bueno. That cannot happen. They have to be able to protect him, and he has to do a better job of watching his blind spots. And when the pass rush comes, utilize your feet. Dak Prescott can run. He's a mobile quarterback. Do the things that he did his rookie year. I've seen him do it before. He can definitely do it again. Run that ball. Make the Giants pay for jumping into the wrong holes and over pursuing, because they're going to over pursue, because the Cowboys defensive line the Giants defensive line is going to they're going to over pursue because they're going to get cocky, because they see the Travis Frederick's not here. They're going to rush at Connor Williams because they look at tape. They're going to rush at Connor, and they're going to rush at Joe Looney. And I know Joe Looney can hold his own because I've watched the tape. I've seen it. Even the Giants will tell you, they was like, well, even though Travis Frederick was out, their coach even said that what's his name, Shermer? Their new coach basically said that the Cowboys offensive line, yeah, they're without Travis Frederick, but don't underestimate them. They're still out there, doing their thing and blocking. But again, those 6 sacks, yes, Dak needs to work on his vision. He needs to know where he is on the field. He has to know where his receivers is, and his receivers need to get open for him, not just stopping on their routes when the play breaks down and Dak Prescott rolls out, which is a lot of the time. They have to keep moving their feet and get open so he can pass you the ball. That's why Cole Beasley gets a lot of the passing well, he got a lot of the passing last week because of the simple fact that he knows Dak. He's been on this team for him and T. Will been on here the longest as far as a receiver, so they know their quarterback. Now it just needs to get to a point where Allen Hurns and everybody and Michael Gallup, everybody catches up to get to where Dak is, so they know each other. So they know when Dak does this, I know I need to do this. Everybody needs to do their job, know their assignment, and win, like J Rock says. So. Again, you're not going to be successful if your quarterback is on the ground. It's just not going to happen. Now, another thing is our defense did great last week, but they can get better at tackling. Our defensive line rushed. They sacked Cam about 3 times and had a bunch of hurries. I mean, I can't even count how many hurries he had. But again, they have to stay disciplined on defense. Keep the pass rush coming, y'all. Keep the pass rush coming. D-Law, he's already ready. He's talking about all I do is eat, sleep, and kill football. So, again, get out there and kill, bro, and do what you need to do. Attack that quarterback, sack him, get him to the ground. I don't know if y'all knew this, but D-Law got fined, like, I think, what was it, $20,000? $20-something thousand for, I guess, a late hit on the quarterback. See, they're not playing with these quarterbacks this year, getting them hurt like that. So they basically got him for putting his body weight on the quarterback when he sacked him or something. I don't know, but they fined him for that. I was like, God, that's brutal. But you know, he got the money, so he can do it. The Cowboys held the Panthers to 16 points last week, which is good. But when you hold a team with 16 points, that means you need to score more than 16 points to win the game. Like D-Law says, yes, we got sacks, but sacks don't mean anything if you don't win. Now, statistically, it looks good, but you still gotta come away with that W at the end of the day. You gotta come away with that W. You gotta frustrate Eli Manning. Now, he's going to be much easier to contain than Cam Newton because Cam Newton is a mobile quarterback. Cam Newton is a guy that's going to run straight out of the pocket. Eli sits in the pocket, and if he doesn't have time to get an open receiver, he'll throw you a pick or two. He'll definitely make a mistake. The ball will pop up, just like when they played Jacksonville when Miles Jack got that pop up and had a pick 6. These are the things that we need to do on defense to neutralize Eli. They already know what to do with Eli. They played Eli for years, so they know Eli's tendencies. And again, the key to get him to not get the ball, because Odell Beckham is their target. But you have to be careful, though, because they have a dynamic young tight end in Evan Ingram. And Evan Ingram is a tight end that's literally a big wide receiver. He's definitely a threat. I mean, you definitely have to take an account for him. So you look at what they have on offense outside of Saquon Barkley. They got a fresh Odell Beckham that's ready to catch the ball and score. Like I said, his run after catch yards is ridiculous, and that's just what Odell does. So if you keep everything in front of you as a defense and you can clog and contain, that's going to benefit, and that's going to end up being the Cowboys' win. But you have to do these things. You have to think smart. You have to play wise. And you have to know your job. You have to know what you're doing. Play your gaps. If everybody plays their gaps and they do what they're supposed to on defense and they tackle, wrap them up. It's too many times where I see these guys catch the ball and they just zoom it down the field, just running. And I'm just like, you cannot allow that to happen this year because, again, won't be no playoffs, and this team will be forgotten about very soon if they don't do these things. Because it is imperative that these linebackers tackle. It's imperative that the defensive tackles and linemen and ends get to the quarterback, and it's key that these DBs bat balls down and, again, cover their men. Frustrate, because one thing about Odell, if you frustrate him off the line and you hand fight with him off the line, those 2-3 seconds that he would normally have to break off his slant route, Eli doesn't have that to give to him. The window closes like this. So with that, on top of the pass rush that we can provide to fluster Eli, Eli will throw the ball into the stands like he normally does and makes that face. And that disappointed look that he does all the time. That one, we all know that one very well. That one is just as much recognizable as our coach clapping every play. But yeah, but that's beside the point. But again, fluster Eli. Don't let him get the ball downfield. Plain and simple. Now, as far as our defense goes, like I said, I was proud of them last week. I know that they're going to do their job. Again, only gripe I have is we have to continue to tackle. Another thing that we can't do this game is have Kayvon and Heath play the whole daggone game. You're going to have to rotate because you have to, these newer guys are on the team. You have to trust them to go out there and play because this is what you have right now. You couldn't get Earl Thomas. You didn't go out in free agency to get safety help. You didn't get George Ikeola when he was available, when he got released. So because of them not being proactive in getting the players, you have what you have right now. And you got to play with what you have. Xavier Woods is still going to be out. So it's up to the rest of these guys, these safeties, to come out here and play. But again, I don't think it's wise to make Jeff Heath and Kayvon Frazier play the whole daggone game because you're going to tire them out. If you play them all the defensive snaps, you're going to have to get somebody else to take their job over on special teams because you can't make them do both. You can't keep doing that every week. You're going to tire them out. They're going to get injured. And then what you have nothing. So you have to be smart about it. Now, we know what the Giants can do on offense and we know what they can do on defense. They are without Olivier Vernon, so utilize that. Keep Dak away from Snack Harrison because he will get to Dak if we don't do what we're supposed to do. Protect, keep the pass rush coming, and start off strong. I can't express enough to start off strong. And Jason Garrett, what Jason Garrett needs to do is he needs to give them the ball first so our defense can go out there first. Control the game, and you win. That's it. Time of possession, baby. So that's pretty much what I have right now, y'all. So let me know what you think about these matchups. Now, as far as a prediction, I would say Cowboys win 23-18. I think that they heard what people said about them in the media, and they ain't feeling that. And they feel embarrassed about last week, and the Cowboys went back and looked at the film, and they're like, we can't do this again. Even Deontay Thompson said that, hey, we can't do nothing but get better from here, and I believe it. So get better, y'all. Do what we got to do, and go Cowboys. So with that being said, y'all, like, share, comment. It's your boy E2 Blue. I'll holler at y'all later. Oh yeah, and I'll be at Mark Holmes' house later. To watch the game, so we'll probably most likely be live streaming and talking about the game, y'all. So it's game day, y'all. Get ready. Let's just hope and let's have hope and faith that this team wins. So with that being said, it's your boy E2 Blue. I'll let y'all later on.